Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a subscriber, thank you for your subscription. Thanks for coming back. If you stumbled across this video and decided you want to watch it anyway, I appreciate that. This morning, this video is going to be hand loading. You know, a lot of times you see me, I'll go out, I'll shoot, and I'll talk about a particular hand load that I use. Well, I've never shown any of what goes into my making of hand loads. So I figured it would, it'd be a good, a good opportunity to show that. I never have, shown that. Really, the main reasons of the room that I do my reloading in seems to be the room where anything that anyone in my family doesn't use or doesn't need, but they have a sentimental attachment to, they throw it down there and it just looks like a junk room. But anyhow, I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to do the best I can to be thorough. And if I make any mistakes, some of you that may have more experience than me, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. But anyhow, enjoy the video. Alright. Well, I tumbled a few cases. Now here's the next step I do. Jury's still out on this stuff. I don't know whether I like it or not. I'm experimenting with it. This is some case lube. That's supposed to be the one shot. Take this container, drill a little hole in it, just give it a good shot. Well, I give it probably a little more than a shot. Shake them up. Now they're lubed. These are just the steps that I go through. I've already got my sizing die set. I'll go ahead and run them through there. Not the best setup in the world, kind of a junk room down here, but I'm going to try to do about 6 of them. I plan to shoot a couple of groups. I kind of like that 4895 150 grain load that me and my son tried the other day. I just want to try it a little more before I try to tweak it. What I'm doing right now is I'm resizing the brass and depriming. Knocks the I bring it back to the specs of the cartridge. Also, it knocks the primer out, gets it ready to prime. I'm just going to do a few of these, that way it won't be such a long video. I figure if I do 2, that'll let me shoot maybe 2 different groups, like one at 100, one at 200. There's 6. I'll put these other ones away for now. This is not going to be a world-class hand loading video. Myself, what I normally do after that step, I've got my trimmer set to the length I need. I normally go right ahead and trim them. That way I know they're all the same. I ran them through a tumbler for just a little while. These are cases from the my last video where my son and I were shooting at 30-06. So these are some of those same cases. I just ran them through the tumbler for, I don't know, probably 30 minutes just to kind of knock the rough off of them. Cases do stretch a little as you fire them. But, when I run them through the trimmer, I mean, if it doesn't cut, hey, that's fine. If the case is a little bit long and it does cut, I just try to make all these cases the same length. Okay, here's my 6. I hope I was in focus. Now, see, like I trimmed this one down. Next thing I do, I take this tool, this chamfer tool. I chamfer the inside of the neck a little, knock any burrs off, and also deburr the outside of the neck. Myself, a lot of people say this is not necessary, but I go ahead and clean the primer pocket too while I'm at it. And see, this case now is ready to it's ready to prime. I think to keep the video from being too awful long, I'll just take you through with this one, you know, because this is kind of time consuming. So the next thing that I would do with this case, I have a little auto primer taped together, but I don't like the covers they put on these new Lee auto primes, but that's how I see I don't like priming off the press. I like to use this way for the feel. Yeah, I can kind of tell how far I've seated the primer just by the feel. All right, I seated that primer. All right, and one thing that I do is I normally set it like on a table and see if it rocks. Make sure I've got the primer seated all the way down in there. Well, the next step for this case would be the powder charge. In this case, I'm using 48 grains of IMR 4895. I always put the powder that I'm working with out on the little bench, you know, and I don't ever bring anything else out. Using Sierra Pro Hunter, 150 grain, you know, Spitzers, flat base. You know, I just wanted to try these in the rifle the other day, and I kind of like the way they fire. I've got some boat tail, 150 grain boat tails. I'll try them later. But the original loading for the 30-06 used IMR 4895 and a 150 grain, you know, flat base bullet. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a powder charge. I always set my scale just a little bit under what I want. I use a mechanical scale. So I've got my scale set on 48. It's not quite there. I use a trickler. I do this on every case. I'm not a high volume loader. I want all the powder charges to be uniform. But I use a little trickler and I trickle it until I have exactly 48 grains. And I use this little powder funnel. It's designed for a bullet. See how it fits over the neck? The way you won't spill your powder charge. Here's my 48 grain charge. Pour it in there. When I'm loading a whole bunch of them, I usually take a flashlight and I look at each one, make sure that I have a charge. You know, this one has got a charge. Okay. Being that we've done all those steps, I go ahead and I turn to my bullet seating die. I've already got it set from that last range session. I'm gonna take my bullet in here. Turn it up. Here's my finished product. Got a Winchester brass. I got a CCI primer. It's been resized and trimmed. And I've got a 48 grain charge of IMR 4895. I've got a 150 grain Sierra Pro Hunter. Now, I cut out a lot of the steps, you know, like normally, you know, using my calipers and measuring. I already had all my measurements set up, but that's just the basics, you know, basics of hand loading, how to make your own load. Use load data. Like here's a manual I use, older manual. Here's another one, the little yellow book. They don't agree with each other. You know, you need to have a couple of different sources. For setting up your dies, when you buy a set of dies, you get instructions with them that tell you exactly how to set and adjust your dies. Always keep a couple of wrenches handy that I use if I've got to make an adjustment on my dies and snug them down. But that was just a basic loading video. I plan to maybe do a few more in the future, but thanks for watching. Well, if you watch this video, I just want to say thank you. I just thought it would be good to show what goes into making these hand loads. I plan to make some more range footage in the future, but I just wanted to thank you for watching. God bless America. God bless mankind. Have a good weekend.